Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another episode on Blown for Good, exposing Scientology since 2006. Today we have a very special episode. We're going to be doing a fundraiser for the Michael J. Rinder Aftermath Foundation. And we have, of course, we have special guests. We have my wife, Claire Headley.
Hey. Thank you for joining us.
And then we have Phil Jones.
Hey, everybody.
And then we've got Matt and Amy.
Hello.
Hey, guys.
Hey, nice to be here.
It's good to see you guys again. It's good to be doing a video again. It's been a while.
Yes, it has.
Been a very long time. So good to have everybody here. And we are going to be having a very fun-filled hour packed full of news and updates, specifically all about the Michael J. Rinder Aftermath Foundation and the work that we volunteer our time as board members, meaning obviously Mark and Amy and Matt. And of course, Phil, we're very grateful for your help and expertise in our second round of the billboards.
Thank you. Yep. Do you want me to talk a little bit about that?
Please, that would be awesome.
Awesome. So billboard update. Here we go. So the billboards, we originally put 20 up. For those who don't know, we have 3 different billboards that are all for the foundation. And we've got 20 sites up right now. And they've been up for a month, slightly over a month, but they're all still up. And we have now contracted to maintain an additional, we're going to keep 10 of them. To keep 20 up would be a little much, but we're going to keep 10 of them up for a year. This is huge. I've worked on billboards in the past, and to have billboards up for a couple of months is big, but to have them up for a year is very exciting. This is going to have the message out there that Sea Org members, staff members, Scientologists are going to see. They're going to bump into it at some point in time. With 10 billboards around Los Angeles, nearby Scientology buildings, they're going to run into them. And the message is very clear. Now, we had to make a few slight changes, but that was just on the one billboard. There was some pushback from Scientology, of course.
Of course, as is always to be expected.
And I've run into this many times in the past. Scientology will always push back. But this time, I mean, it's not that much different than what we ran into years ago with the Call Me campaign. They pushed back. We had to make a few adjustments back then where we had to put a little message on it initially, at least for the first month. And then once things settled down, then they allowed us to take the message off, which was basically paid for by, and this one will say paid for by the Aftermath Foundation. Now, it's only for the one. And this one is the Mike Rinder billboard. And the pushback was specifically by Scientology on the word cult. Of all the things we had on those billboards, the one thing that just pissed them off the most was the word cult. So
to be fair, it didn't even say Scientology. It said the main difference between a cult and not a cult is what happens when you leave. It doesn't even mention Scientology.
Exactly. And we even tried to take all references to Scientology off the billboard, like even on the website at the bottom and everything, but there was enough pushback from Scientology that they wouldn't allow us to put the word cult in there. So we changed it up slightly, the wording on it, and instead of cult, we're going to be using high control group. So the difference between a religion and a high control group is what happens when you try to leave. And Mike's picture is still on there. The website is still on there, everything, and the phone number, the Aftermath phone number is on there. So and so the only difference, and this message of paid for by the Aftermath Foundation is only on that billboard. And I'm assuming that after a month or two, they'll allow us to take that off there. That's what happened when we did our original Call Me billboards. The first month we had the message paid for by on it. And then after that, they said, I guess what happens is once Scientology settles down and their lawyers go away and whatever, then I guess the media company gets a little more comfortable with it.
Yeah, it's so ironic that They didn't complain about Scientologyabuse.com.
Right.
But they threw a
Yeah.
complete fit over the definition of cult, which, by the way,
Right.
in the English dictionary, as Steve Kent so kindly pointed out to us, he sent us a whole documentation of how they absolutely fit the definition.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They're the
Maybe that's
poster
why they
child.
got so upset about it, because they know they're a cult.
Plus, I'm sure that Mike Rinder's picture being up there is triggering as well. That's
really
another
at the end of the day.
big factor.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be tough for them to say we don't want that picture up there, so they had to argue something. And
Yeah.
so the one thing they locked in on was the word cult. And we wanted to not fight too much with the media company, because the more important thing was to get this campaign running for a year.
Yes.
And so if we push back too much, I didn't want to jeopardize the campaign at all. So we kind of bent a little bit for them, which is fine, because
Yeah,
the
it's
billboards
fine.
are still up. We're going to have 10 billboards up. And
Yeah, and we're going to call them our cult billboards, anti-cult billboards. But they could say high control group. They fit that bill too. So
right, I know. Well,
they do.
Yeah, and when you have Mike Rinder's face, whether it says cult or high control group, everyone is going to think of Scientology. No question
Absolutely.
about it. The world over.
Yes.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
just as a side note, there is a person in LA who walks around the Sea Org buildings a lot, almost every day. And I gave him some of these cards with the Aftermath message on them, and he's been handing them out to Sea Org members.
Amazing.
So
Perfect.
yeah, so if anybody else wants any of those that are in LA or near any Sea Org buildings, and if they want some, let us know and we'll send them to you. And if you just hand them out to Sea Org members, it's got the phone number on it. And this friend of mine too, what the other thing he does is if they don't take a card, he'll say the phone number out loud. And it's a real easy to remember phone number. It's just 888-FREE-002. And
Yes.
he's just out there saying that to every Sea Org member that he sees.
That's awesome. And those cards, by the way, are available on spshop.com. We print them, and all that we ask is that you pay the cost of us shipping them to you. But we have 4 different designs of the Aftermath card, the Curious design, the Need Help Leaving, all of those. And there's also on the Aftermath Foundation website a way that you can also just print them off yourself if that's easier for you.
Yeah. And that is a duplicate of one of the billboards that's
correct.
Up there.
It's the only difference is the image of the person in the card is female, and on the billboard it's male. So, diversifying. And I bet you didn't even notice that.
No, but the ones I have are the male, but I didn't realize that
nice.
the other ones
we have both. We have both versions. Just to make clear that anyone who wants to leave the Sea organization, we will help them. Yes.
Nice.
Awesome. And we have an awesome video that we're going to play displaying these billboards in just a minute here. But first of all, I just would like to give a shout out and a huge thank you to our board member, Michelle Adair, who you will see featured in this video, and also Michelle's wife, Rachel Hastings Adair, who of course helped with all this filming and put this video together at very short notice so we could share it here today.
Great.
Awesome. And then we'll do a little bit of a Q&A after this if people have questions or whatever. And then in case I forget, if you make any comments during today's video, we're going to do a giveaway at the end of the video. We're going to do a giveaway at the end of the video. And just commenting on today's video will enter you in. You don't have to buy anything. It's free. Just make a comment and you'll be automatically entered in to win something at the end of the video.
Yes. And also, before we play the video, I would like to give a huge shout out to the many people who have donated in support of the Aftermath Foundation. The work that we do would not be possible without your support. So we are just incredibly grateful that we get to continue our work to help people get out.
Awesome. Without any further.
One last point on the billboards is, for those that don't know, the purpose of the billboards is, to a large degree, it's to give a pathway for people that are in the Sea Org, have no resources. If they want to leave the Sea Org, and they walk out the door, are they going to turn left? They're going to turn right. They have no money. They have no phone. They have no internet access. But if they might see a phone number up on one of these billboards, and if they can get to a phone, they can get help. And this gives them a chance. I'm sure there's been many people over the years who've wanted to leave but didn't. They ended up staying in the Sea Org just because they had no way, nowhere to go, nobody to help them if they got out. So the billboards offer them that pathway, and that's the important thing about keeping them up there.
Yes, absolutely. And last comment on that, by the way, we very often work with families of current members of the Sea Organization and guide them and mentor them on what to communicate to their family member who is stuck in the Sea Organization. And you're absolutely right, Phil. Many, many times the member of the Sea Organization feels stuck because they've been so isolated from the outside world. And they think, well, I wouldn't be able to get a job. My life is over. I have no resources. And so just arming the family members with the knowledge that as soon as the person is ready to leave, we're here to help is huge. And we have close to 10 active cases that we're working on right now. Very often, we work with families over the course of months or even years. In the case of Rosemary Brown, we were working with her family since March of 2021, so an entire year before she actually made her escape. So it's very important that we keep this message up, and just having it out there, as you'll see very visibly in this video we're about to play, is huge.
Awesome. Okay, we're going to do it. Ready? It's going to play right away as soon as I click the button. So here we go.
Okay.
I'm Michelle Adair, and I'm a board member on the Rinder Aftermath Foundation. And I'm out here today to bring you some footage of billboards that we were able to get put up here in Los Angeles, close to a lot of the Scientology buildings, in order to help Scientologists escape the cult of Scientology. With these billboards, we'll be able to get the word out to as many people as possible to just plant the seed so they can call the Aftermath Foundation and receive the help that they need. We will be able to unite families back together, save children from abuse, stop human trafficking, stop elder abuse, and the list goes on and on. I'm a little nervous out here today to be filming this because the last time that we put one of these up, Phil Jones and my wife were attacked by an unsheltered man paid by Scientology. So hopefully today we have a little better luck.
That was right here. That happened just
right
with the billboard that was just down there. This is the AB, the Anthony Building, which is the birthing where they live. The staff for the International Liaison Office, the HGB, they all live in here. At least the majority of them live in this building. Hundreds of Sea Org members. There's a van pool van picking up some Sea Org members. That's a Scientology van. And we are now headed towards another billboard. I think it's down here. I think it's down here by the Starbucks. So this along here is where Sea Org members from the ILO, they walk during their CSP. They'll come down here. Sometimes they'll go early in the morning before post. Also go to the Starbucks on the corner here, which is where I believe the billboard is. We haven't been to this billboard yet, so we're gonna have to find it. But this is definitely, there it is. Oh, very close.
That's amazing.
Very close. This is right on the path.
That's so awesome.
Yep.
Way for them to
this.
drive their van pool van and not. That's ILO staff members, Sea Org members that just went by this sign. There's no way around it. It is so close to the AB. Hundreds of Sea Org members live there, and a whole van of them just drove by because the AB is just down there. No avoiding it. So this is the Starbucks. Sea Org members like their Starbucks. There it is. That's the billboard.
With Mike.
Nice.
Mike Rinder's face. He's at the Starbucks where the ILO Sea Org members go early in the morning if they can wake up or if they haven't gone to sleep yet. And they gotta go back on post on Sunday
Mocha with
mornings.
Mike.
Right at the
They
entrance
gotta
to the
order a
101.
coffee.
Yes.
Mike Rinder. Little
They're gonna
frappuccino
highlight
with
that.
Mike.
Frappa Mike.
You went too far.
Here we are at our
Here we
third
go.
time, just blocks away from Scientology, and right in front of the Starbucks where the Scientologists like to go and drink coffee. So they get to have coffee with Mike every morning. We're excited.
Probably not every
Brilliant.
morning. They're probably not allowed to go every morning. The bus from the ILO, it's gonna go turn there because the birthing is over there. It's gonna come along either right along the street here, or it's gonna get on the freeway right here. That's really common, but they have to drive by
I love that spot.
Mike
awesome.
Rinder.
Wow.
There's no avoiding it.
Right on the freeway
Everyone who
on-ramp.
worked on this deserves the badge of honor of being a suppressive person of Scientology. Heroes come in many forms. Being Scientology enemy number one should be a competition. We're also so grateful for our donors. Without their unwavering support, none of this would be possible. I know that 30 seconds after this video goes up, there will be 500 Scientology trolls in action to discredit the Mike Rinder Aftermath Foundation. But one thing always stands strong, and that is the dedication of our donors to help people. Scientology has been infiltrating the Scientology survivor groups for some time now and turning them on each other. And I think it's time to refocus. So I have personally never been in Scientology, and I definitely have not escaped Scientology. However, my wife has, and here she is filming me. So what is it to you to have this billboard go up?
Well, I think there are still quite a lot of people who are trapped within Scientology. There's people that I know personally who are working right now down the street at the blue buildings. There's people that I know personally who are working a couple blocks away at S&P, and I know that they want to leave. I know they're unhappy and they feel that they can't. They feel that they're trapped. They're kept without any financial resources. The threat of losing everyone they know, all their family and friends, and having a sign up that they're going to drive by, that they have to drive by, that they could walk by during a normal route that they take during CSP. Actually having 20 signs up in all these different areas is hope. I really hope that, you know, people know if they end up seeing this video somehow under the radar, that you really can escape, you really can be free, and, you know, call the number, find a way to get online, go to a library and get on an unfiltered internet line, go to aftermath.help, call 888-FREE-002. The Aftermath Foundation exists to help you escape, because I think that it's really important that we have this out there, and Scientology's been fighting it, and the reason they're fighting it is because they know they have members that they're trapping and that they're enslaving and that they're not letting go, that want to go. If everybody that was in just wanted to stay, like Scientology says, they wouldn't care about these billboards because they wouldn't have any power. The fact that Scientology fought so hard to get the other one removed in 48 hours, that they're fighting so hard right now to get these billboards removed, is a sign of how important they are and how much we need them. So I just hope that this message gets out. If it gets out to one person and we free one life, we're supporting human rights. And I think that's really important. And I know a lot of people out there have folks still in Scientology that they care about, and they want them to see this message. So we need to do everything we can to spread the word about this and support them however we can so these billboards can stay up and go up in more places.
And that's Rachel Hastings Adair coming to you live from the Michael Rinder Aftermath Foundation billboard.
There you go. Amazing.
Wow.
Awesome.
Oh,
Love
we
it.
lost Phil. There's
Uh-oh.
Phil.
There's
There we are.
Um,
One little point, if you noticed on there, some of the it looked like maybe a slight bit of peeling on the billboards. Those original billboards were one material that were short term. We've had new ones printed up with better materials that will last the year. So if you see a little bit of that, don't panic over the little kind of peeling up or blemishes or stuff like that. The billboards going up for the next year are the better materials that will last the entire year.
Yeah,
nice.
if you only get a month, they only put up material that lasts a month.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah,
they've,
it's a
they've
cheaper
got it down to a
material.
fine
Yeah.
science.
Oh, they do.
That was an amazing and powerful video. Thank you so much
Oh
to
my
Rachel
God.
and Michelle. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
and I do want to
Yeah,
make
fabulous
sure that
work.
people understand that these billboards are not free. We have to pay to put them up.
Mhm.
And because we want to reach these people, we need funds to help the people, but we also need funds to help put up the billboards. So the reason that we're doing this video today is this is a fundraiser. We're trying to raise more funds so we can pay for the year of billboards. We can pay for years of billboards. And the only way that we're going to be able to continue to do billboards, and not only in Los Angeles, but in other places, is if we receive donations from people to support the foundation. So
Yes.
we want to do fundraisers more often. We want to get the Aftermath page. The Aftermath has a website that you can go to donate. You can also go to the SP shop, and that's where you can buy merchandise. That 100% of the proceeds go to support the Aftermath Foundation. And we're also trying to get the Aftermath Foundation YouTube channel, up over 10,000 subscribers. So the Aftermath channel itself can do fundraisers, and we're going to post that video you just saw. We're going to post that up on the Aftermath YouTube page if you guys want to watch it again. Yeah. It's
Yes.
exciting. We can't thank you enough, Phil, for all the help that you've given us to get through this.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't think that putting up billboards is such a
challenge.
Oh, there's a
involved
lot of
thing.
pieces to it. There's
Oh my
it's surprising people don't. I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. You got to get the artwork done, then you got to get this approved. They go back to the art. There's a lot of back and forth. But one point too, that if someone does want to donate, they can, on the Aftermath Foundation site, donate specifically for the billboards if they want to do that. So
Yes.
just go to where it says donations, and then just pull down the little menu from there, and it'll say donate to the billboards, and you can, if you want to, for however you want to do it. But
yes.
yeah, definitely we want to keep these up, because it does
Yeah.
give that opening for people who want to leave the Sea Org.
Completely.
It is. And it's also for the family members that have people in
Yeah.
the Sea Org. They know what line to call,
Yeah.
because maybe their loved one isn't necessarily seeing the sign, but people on the outside are. So yeah, there's people know Scientologists or have loved ones in there, and they need to see the message too, that there is hope and help.
Yes, through and through, it's a message of help, and also to educating anyone that might for 1 second consider, oh, what's Scientology about? Let me go in and see. Nope,
Yeah.
that's the other secondary purpose that is equally important. Stop people
Mhm.
getting lured in the first place.
Yeah,
Totally.
They can get their information from our website and then all of our videos.
Yes, completely. Awesome. Well, this concludes our billboard section. Phil, thank you so very much for joining us today. I will just end with, we have huge news coming on Monday. So just remember to subscribe, follow us on all social media. We'll have a page up later in this show today that will show you all the ways you can do that. But stay tuned for big news coming Monday.
Exciting.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil.
Thank
You're
you so
very
much,
welcome.
Phil. We'll
So
talk to you
much.
soon.
All right.
Happy
Bye,
Easter.
everybody. Happy Easter, everybody.
Bye.
Okay, awesome. Well, that was very exciting. I'm so proud of everybody who helped us do that, and we really, really think that it's going to make a big difference, and
Yeah.
we're going to
Yes.
be able to reach a lot more people and get a lot more people helped.
Yes.
Yeah.
That video
Okay.
was awesome.
What are we doing next? You're going to do a recap of the
Yes.
2024.
Next, we're going to talk about news and updates and talk about our program progress in 2024. So we have a slide presentation, and then at the end, we'll come back in and talk about what we showed, some examples of people we've helped without, of course, naming any names. As I mentioned, there are many times that we are working on cases over the course of months or even a year or more, working with their families, et cetera, reconnecting them. And unfortunately, it doesn't always work out as planned. We'll touch on some of that again without giving away any information. But we keep on doing the work. And that's what's really, really important.
Absolutely.
It really is.
And just so you guys know, this video that we're in right now should be playing on the Aftermath channel.
I hope it is.
It says that it
Oh,
is.
Clara says yes, it is. Yay!
Okay.
So you can get on over and watch it on the Aftermath channel. The reason we're specifically doing this is because YouTube is great and everything, but even more so, it's great when we can entirely set it up to just support a nonprofit cause, which in this case, of course, is the Michael J. Rinder Aftermath Foundation. And it makes way more sense for us to do and talk about our work in that context as a fundraiser than on our personal YouTube channel where there's, whatever, Google AdSense revenue. It's far more important to us that the work we do benefits the foundation. Thus,
Perfect.
us being here today.
Somebody said I'm on the Aftermath channel and it's working fine.
Yay!
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy.
Awesome.
There we go.
Okay,
All right.
good. So, sorry,
No, you're good.
my clicker button is got a little bit of Tourette's there. Okay, so there you go.
There we go. All right, 2024 programs, 100 plus total people helped. This is between not only direct grant recipients, our mentorship services, our foundation outreach, career counseling. We started the mental health, the therapy group physically in Los Angeles. It was I believe that started in October of last year. And coming in June, we will have an online version of that group so that we can reach even more people, which is amazing. And let's see what else. Oh, yeah, we have obviously the crisis line, 888-FREE-002. And then also we have a dedicated line specifically for law enforcement. Law enforcement requested of us to set up that line specifically so that when they run into strange situations with members of the Sea organization and they are very limited in what they can do and say, they have a line to be able to call for support, which is amazing.
Yeah.
We also have the education grant, which we launched to enable members, former Scientologists, to afford them education opportunities that many of us, myself and Mark included, were denied by virtue of the fact that many of them were born into and raised in Scientology, and formal education was poo-pooed, to put it lightly. Wouldn't you agree, guys?
I mean, come on.
Right.
I think I finished 8th grade and that was it.
Right.
Yeah. Somebody was saying that I was a high school dropout, and I was like, hey, take it easy there. I dropped out of middle school, folks. I didn't even get to high school. Okay, so don't be misidentifying me as a high school dropout.
I know. I never saw a day of high school in my life.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I managed to get my GED 2 weeks before our oldest son graduated. Yay!
Did you do the last thing?
Okay, and then 15 people assisted with emergency housing. So very often when someone is just getting out, mostly from the Sea organization, but also from staff, and some of those people have had children in tow as well. And so we've enabled them to relocate to other states away from Scientology. Anyway, we have Clara, who is our social media person for the Aftermath Foundation. Yay, Clara, you're amazing. Has been posting testimonials on our social media for the Aftermath Foundation. So you can read specific examples there. Again, we keep everyone anonymous. We just decided that makes the most sense. The last thing someone getting out of Scientology needs to worry about is Scientology finding out and going to get them back. So there you have it. The funding provided to grant recipients last year, 2024, was a 40% increase from 2023.
That's
Yay.
Yeah,
Amazing.
really good.
Grantees. We helped a number of grantees relocate to other states and away from Scientology. We covered that. Did we go the other way? Oh, all of our grantees remain anonymous unless they choose to speak out, in which case, wonderful. But that's not a conversation that we have in the work that we do. We focus on helping them feel safe, supported, and providing whatever services they need to help them get back on their feet. Stories. Remember, time is of the essence. If you have family in the Sea Org, we encourage you to stay in touch with them, visit them. We often help families navigate these situations. We've covered on some of that. And at the end of this presentation, we'll give a few specific examples. Again, no names. Testimonial. Before I ever came into contact with Scientology in my teenage years, I always knew I wanted to be a filmmaker. Scientology quickly convinced me that my dreams and aspirations were a small game, not worthwhile. I was instead led into believing that joining the Sea Org was the big and important game that I really should be playing. My dreams were crushed, and I hardly even realized it. I joined the Sea Org, and I thought I was doing something far more important than my own silly, selfish goals. I eventually left the Sea Org, not being able to stand being there any longer. I left on their terms and followed their rules. After months of grueling security checks, manual labor, they finally released me back to my family. Even after leaving the Sea Organization, I still considered myself a Scientologist for years after, thinking once I got back on my own 2 feet, I would eventually go back, pay off my freeloader debt, and continue my way up the bridge to total freedom. Luckily for me, before I ever decided I was ready to go back, I found a television series online called Scientology in the Aftermath. To say the least, the show opened up my eyes, and soon after watching every episode, I discovered the Aftermath Foundation. At the time, I was struggling to make money. I was pursuing my dream as a filmmaker, but struggling quite a bit because the equipment I was using was all my old equipment from before I joined the Sea Org. It took a while, but I finally decided to put my pride to the side and ask the Aftermath Foundation for help. I asked for new tools for my filmmaking career so that I could provide a higher quality product, have a faster turnaround time, make more videos, land more clients, and pick myself up right when I almost just gave up. Once I worked up the nerve to ask a stranger for help and apply to the Aftermath Foundation, they quickly let me know that they were there for me.
Sorry.
After they processed my application, in short time, they let me know that I was approved. I was granted the tools that I needed to pursue my lifelong dream. My world became a little clearer for the first time in a long time. I felt hopeful. This is all thanks to the donors, the kind-hearted people who donated to the Aftermath Foundation, and not a day goes by that I don't think about how grateful I am for everyone involved in this foundation, inside and out. Thank you a million times. Thank you. You're changing lives.
Nice. Yay.
Yeah.
And we have submitted all of our extensive paperwork for our 3rd year participation in the CFC campaign. This is the combined federal campaign. It's the most rigorously screened workplace giving program in the U.S. and provides both current federal employees and retired federal employees the option to support our work. Not only that, it gives the Aftermath Foundation the presentation opportunities where we can educate multiple government agencies on the work that we do. So there you have it. You can volunteer for the Michael J. Rinder Aftermath Foundation by visiting our website. And there's the link so you can sign up to volunteer. We had 1,963 volunteers in 31 countries around the world as of today.
Wow,
yes.
Fantastic.
Yes. Amazing, amazing. And here are all the links of how you can follow the work of the Michael J. Rinder Aftermath Foundation on social media.
Nice.
There we go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. Yay.
We did it.
We did
Boy,
it.
How much do I love those testimonies? You know,
Yes.
and that's just one of several, but boy, I get so emotional about it because, I mean, that's what it's all about. And
Also, a lot of these people, they don't need that much. The amount you need to help one person could vary from a few $100s to a few $1,000s. And then that amount, and also some resources like a place to stay or the hookup, just knowing who we can put them in touch with that can help them with the exact thing that they need help with. Sometimes that is worth more than anything, and it's free.
Yes.
So,
and our career counseling program also focuses on identifying transferable skills, because it's not necessarily someone who's been in the Sea organization for 25 years, that their lingo does not even translate into something that an employer would necessarily go, oh, you're amazing. And yet,
we can do anything.
Every member of the Sea organization I've ever met is a very capable person with their heart in the right place. And so just having that program to help them identify and create a usable resume that gets them hired is huge.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, knowing anything about the outside world, when you leave the Sea Org, especially if you started as a teenager or younger, you don't know the basic things. Like, we never did a resume. I mean, I didn't even know what a resume was.
Yes.
I remember writing my first resume. I was like, I think I'm just going to work for myself the whole rest of my life.
Yeah.
What education? You don't want to know.
Yes, completely. But yeah, I did want to talk about an example. We talked in this presentation about how time is of the essence. And as I mentioned, we have many successes, but they don't always pan out as expected. And so we had a recent example that is a sad story, but it's one that is important to share, I believe, because it highlights the elder abuse and the that goes on in the Sea organization to this day. This was an example of a person. Again, I'm not going to mention name, gender, or location, but this person was in their 70s and had been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. They were a member of the Sea organization at this time. The Aftermath Foundation worked very hard with multiple members of the family to get them to be able to visit this person and work to get them out of the Sea organization. With stage 4 cancer in their 70s, they were put on a shortened schedule of 40 hours per week. And we worked with the family over a period of 3 months. And unfortunately, before our efforts to get the person out and relocated to be living with the family, they collapsed and ended up in the hospital and passed away. And again, we wish that it was always successes, but it's important to talk about because time is of the essence with these cases.
Yeah. And that is another thing that really demonstrates how Scientology, the empathy that exists for Sea Org members. A person with stage 4 cancer, instead of having to work 120 hours a week, they only work a 40-hour a week. So imagine that if you only had to work 9 to 5 now, instead of having to work 9 to midnight. That's that. And that person within the Sea Org, I mean, anybody correct me if I'm wrong, the Sea Org looks down on that person as being a slacker, that they are leaving at dinner time and not working until the end of the night. Like, oh yeah, Bill can't be here because he's going to go home now, and you're just like, great, thanks, Bill.
And even in this case, the person had been in the Sea organization for decades. Yeah. And we were working with the family to get them out, which in the terminology of the Sea organization meant they were preparing a fitness board to find this elderly person fighting stage 4 cancer as unfit. I mean, that's the derogatory approach that Scientology takes in these cases. And it's absolutely disgusting and needs to be exposed.
Yeah. Look at Catherine.
The announcement from Debbie Cook.
Oh, maybe just pointing something out. Back in around, 2000 or so, Debbie Cook at the time was the captain of the Flag Service Organization, and she made an announcement at the staff meeting, which was basically any special schedules, reduced schedules because of the person's age or the medical situation was canceled. Basically, if a person couldn't do the full schedule, then they were going to get fitness boarded, given a couple $100 and put out in the street. And that was announced to the whole crew. And I looked around like, do you guys get it? a lot of you guys have been here for 30 years or more. And after all the work you did, if you can't do 120 hours a week, you're out of here.
Yeah. They throw you away like trash. When they can't squeeze any more blood out of the rock, they just throw you out like trash. And that is another thing that Sea Org members are worried about, is if they do get thrown out, then that's a whole nother problem for them. Right. Where are they going to go? So that is another thing. We do sometimes help people who have been thrown out of the Sea organization, or kicked out, or they were declared an SP a suppressive person out of nowhere. And sometimes we end up having to help those people because Scientology, after years of using and abusing them, just throws them out like trash. And then they still need a place to live. They still need a place to go. And sometimes those people still believe in Scientology.
Right.
And we still help them.
That's right.
And we still help them find a place. Yeah. And we give them resources to get a job, or, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But
it takes a minute, once you leave it takes a minute,
But just taking that first step out the door is so critical and life-changing. And, of course, the many, many people the foundation has helped, we've seen that every single time. It's just a matter of providing support and resources that the person needs, and then they will figure it out from there on their own. We're not here to change anyone's mind. We're not here to convince anyone of anything. Yeah. We're just simply providing a landing spot to help people start the next chapter of their lives without feeling coerced and trapped and anything else that is exactly how you feel when you're in Scientology.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think I give some insight about how many people would want to leave if they could. I'll give you an example. Back in about 1982, I was the security chief up at the international base. We had about, 450 to 500 people on the base. And Hubbard wanted us to announce at the staff meeting there that if anybody wanted to leave, they could. They wouldn't be interrogated for weeks. They wouldn't be declared suppressive person and separated from their families. It would just be like, you can just walk out the door. We'll take your luggage into Los Angeles and drop you off. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it's going to be like, all you got to do is step off to the side. We're in the big dining area. And I'm thinking, it's going to be like 3 or 5 people or something's going to step over to the side. Over a third of the base walked over there. For real, which to me means if the Sea Org did that right now, if Miscavige stood up and said, if you want to leave, you won't be interrogated, you won't be declared and separated from your families, you won't go through all this rigmarole, you can just simply walk out with, we'll call it even. You'd have over 1,000 people would walk out of that freaking place immediately.
100%.
So they're being held in there because they're trapped.
Yeah.
They did a similar thing at the end. Yeah, they did a similar thing at the end base when Marty Rathbun was there. And he was the one who was like, we basically, they called it the Deadwood program. Right. Get rid of all the Deadwood.
Right.
And so they did the same thing.
But they didn't really ask all of us.
Well, no, they didn't. And anyway, that's what you'd call a loaded question in that circumstance.
And also they say, and this is another thing I want to say, because Matt brought up something. He said, you're not going to get interrogated. You're not going to do that. They've said things like that in the past. And then you say, okay, sign me up. And then you get interrogated. And then you get, and so you're like, I don't know. I've seen this.
You wait and see what happens.
Yeah, you're like, I've seen this episode. I know the ending.
Yeah, you learn not to answer those surveys. Like if you could leave, would you want to leave?
Exactly.
We're not going to do anything to you. We're just kind of curious, just kind of feel out the base. Yeah. And anybody who answers it, they're toast, man.
Yeah, it's a trick question.
But when they did do that, even with all those factors, I think they got 2 busloads of people. I remember it was like 80 people that just disappeared the next day.
Right.
And so it was like, wow, 2 busloads just drove off the property, those guys. And we never saw those people ever again. They were just gone. Wow. Some of them did end up in Los Angeles, and some of them ended up on the rehabilitation project force. But I think a majority of those people skedaddled right on out of there.
Yeah.
And but you don't know. And also, I think they gave him $250 and just see it wouldn't want to be that. So it wasn't like, that's a hard sell if you don't have anywhere to go, or you don't have relatives, or you don't have family, or whatever. with $250 start your life over. I know it's rough because we did it, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not the easiest thing to do
Yeah.
Did it too.
with no
I got-
resources.
I got
Yeah.
$250, but then they use that to buy my ticket to watch.
That's
it.
right.
So
That's
I think I got like $75, and after being in the RPF Rehabilitation Project Force for a couple of years, I look like a concentration camp goon. So I used that to get my hair done before I arrived to my family.
The money isn't there to help you. The money
No.
is there to make sure you move far enough away from the base that you're not going to be a problem or a distraction. That's
It's
Right.
it.
and it's also
Totally
there because you're signing documents, and if there's a cash exchange when documents are signed,
Yes.
that gives Scientology the upper hand in if you come back later and say, hey, I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't want to be there, but I didn't have anywhere to go. So I just signed whatever they said. And they said, well, no, hold on a second. You received a compensation for signing that. So you knew there was a deal being made. And it's like, it was $250.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's videoed. The whole thing is videoed, and what
Oh,
you're
yeah.
signing is like you are a totally piece of crap, never did anything
Yes.
good for your
Yeah.
30 years there.
Right.
And they helped you despite you being such a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And and that's what you're signing to get your little couple $100 so you can catch a bus out of town.
Yeah.
Completely.
Okay.
Awesome. Well,
we do
and
some
I just
questions?
wanted to give a shout out to everyone joining us today. Thank you so very much. It is our pleasure to be here talking today about the important work of the Michael J. Rinder Aftermath Foundation. And again, a shout out to our many donors, supporters, volunteers, and everything else. You make our work possible. So thank you.
Yes.
And with that, yes, we'll do some Q&A and we'll do some giveaways. And we'll see. I would like to be able to do these quarterly. And I'm thinking, hey, if there's something you'd like us to talk about, I'm thinking we'll do Meet the Board, news and updates, do programs, all of these kinds of things.
I
Awesome.
think that's an awesome idea. One of the first things I want to say is I am seeing the chat and I'm seeing all the love, you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you too. It's been a minute, but we've, even though we haven't been on the YouTube scene, that doesn't change our dedication and everything like that. But, it's really nice to see everybody too.
Yes. We have lots of stuff happening in the background.
Yes, so much. And
Mhm.
we are just so grateful to have you, Amy and Matt, on the board helping us do the work that we do. And by the way, the billboards was Amy's idea originally.
Billboards. In your face.
Yes, completely. So I just wanted to acknowledge you for that brilliant idea. Boy, has it been an adventure.
Yes, it has. Oh gosh. And thank you for
Yes.
Phil, who's been, pioneering this thing, helping us too. It's fantastic.
Yes,
The whole thing is
and
fantastic.
Apostate Alex and Catherine
Yes,
and
yes.
everybody
Everyone.
involved. It has been very much a team effort.
Such a team effort.
And hey, it just goes to show when we work together, we can accomplish amazing
That's
things to expose Scientology and get people out and give hope and all of that good stuff. So
Yes, agreed 100%.
Okay,
Yes.
good. Should we put up some questions?
let's do it. I'm
Yes.
going to read them and you guys answer them unless, we'll do. That's how we'll do it.
Perfect.
Okay, Nashay Jones. What if someone in the Sea Org is badly injured and becomes disabled?
See, you wouldn't want to be you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, to be
Nope.
fair, there was a gentleman he actually was the security chief at the Ant Base for a little while too. And his name was Uwe.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
Uwe, he was in international management for a while. And then he got in trouble, and then he was assigned to Golden Era Productions. And then I think after a short stint in electrical or the estates division, he became the security chief of the Ant Base.
Right.
And over the years, he developed MS. And once he developed MS, he was offloaded, which that means you basically transferred from the international headquarters to Los Angeles. And he went to the Rehabilitation Project Force with a terminal disease.
Right.
And he was in a wheelchair. And the entire time that he was in the wheelchair in Los Angeles, he was on the Rehabilitation Project Force.
Yeah.
Even though he had a terminal disease. And he had worked at the international base for years and years.
And he
years.
was married to Larice Stukenbrock.
Yes, his name was Uwe Stukenbrock. He was the husband of Larice Stukenbrock, who was the assistant or the communicator, the secretary for David Miscavige, the leader.
And still is to this day. She divorced Uwe the moment he became ill. And you know, that's Scientology for you.
So that's I mean, he might have been might have been the most privileged and connected person to have that happen to, and that's how they treated him.
And that's how they treat him.
Yeah.
And did he have family even? I mean, he was from Germany. So like where was his family even? You know,
well, you know, what's funny is that his brother Marcus was looking for him for many, many years to find out what had happened to him. And Marcus actually flew to the United States with a film team, and we did a whole program for German TV. I participated in this, and I talked with Marcus, and I got to tell Marcus stories about Uwe and some of the things that happened and some of the good times that Uwe was involved in. And then Marcus was like, but I want to know about what the other things as well.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking to have to tell the person's family, like how this person was treated when he was so ill and all these other things happened. And I want to say that they never informed his family before he passed away, if I remember correctly. I think they basically were notified after he had passed.
That's right.
Hey, your brother's gone, or your son, or whatever it was. And then his brother was like, well, what happened? Like, how could he go from where he was all the way to this? And nobody did anything.
Yeah.
The other person that was exactly situation was Engelbert Wagner. He had multiple sclerosis. He was on the Ent base. He was married to Gertie Wagner, and they got a divorce. And he was scooted off into, I think, the ranch at first, and then maybe LA or something like that. But he was from Germany, had no family. Now his wife has divorced him, and he was just left.
Yeah. And that again, these are examples of why we encourage everybody, if you have family in the Sea organization, reach out to them, reconnect, and that will very often plant that first seed that is necessary to give them hope for life outside that very isolating world.
If they could at least tell their family member who's in the Sea that they're always going to be there for the person. If they ever need help, that the family's there for them. Just to put that seed there, that's enough a lot of times to give the guy enough confidence to walk out the door and have a place to go.
Yes,
totally.
Absolutely. Apostate Alex in the house. Hey guys, just on my way home from work. Hope the live stream is going well. So good to see Amy and Matt. Big love to you all. Awesome.
Well, right back
had a
to
late
you.
night. Thanks for joining us. We'll be talking with Alex very soon. Melanie Johnson, question. Did you do anything special for Easter when you were in Scientology? No.
I don't even think we had ham on Easter.
No.
I literally
Not-
think
not
it was
ham.
a no event.
Not even a chocolate bunny.
Not even one plastic Easter egg per Seer member.
No.
Not a one.
I don't
Not a
actually
single
even remember Easter even registering as
No.
a day when we were in the Sea
No.
organization,
I don't
unfortunately.
I think at one time we had, when we first were at the international headquarters, we lived in these apartments that were in town in Hemet, and we would get bussed to and from the apartments each day. And I remember one Sunday when we were leaving to get on the bus, and there were some people that lived in the apartments that weren't part of Scientology or part of the Sea Org. And there was some kids coloring eggs or something. And it was sort of like, oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, you remind me of something too. So there were certain holidays, like July 4th is an example that comes to mind, where we would be working the whole day, but we would be told to come in wearing civilian clothing instead of our uniforms.
Oh, that's right.
But Easter was not one of those days.
No.
Easter Sunday, we never were told to,
That's right.
to wear civilian, not even wear civilian clothing, which was a little bit of a treat for us in the mundane repetition of the life of a Sea Org member.
Yeah, I think even in July 4th, it was like, we're going to have burgers for lunch.
Right.
That's the celebration.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Sometimes it was the galley that did anything.
Yes.
Nothing was happening, but the galley, sometimes you would come down for a meal and there would be,
Like flags.
yeah, like a little flag or
Colored
or-
napkins.
Yeah. They'd literally have flag napkins and be like, yeah, the galley's really going all out for the 4th of July.
Oh my goodness.
Me and Amy
Okay.
were in the Scientology prison camp before we left, and it was Thanksgiving, and we had 20-minute meals where we got to eat the leftover food from the staff, and I gave them an extra 10 minutes to eat. I was like the person in the RPF that was like kind of running it
He was running it.
internally. I got in so much trouble for giving that extra 10 minutes, giving them 30 minutes to eat instead of 20 minutes.
On Thanksgiving.
On
Let me
Thanksgiving.
guess. They told you you were worker oriented.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, big time. What the heck was I thinking?
Oh my goodness.
Let's keep going. We got
Okay.
to
burn through some
these.
questions here
Yeah.
and then we'll do our giveaways. Love it. Question: how hard is it for people coming out escaping Scientology to shake off Scientology lingo? Yeah, that's a great question. It's something that once you, as someone coming out, and again, it really depends. I think it can be accelerated by getting far away from Scientology, but it is something you have to work on because you don't necessarily. It's like peeling layers of an onion, learning to unspeak the language of Scientology, especially depending. Like in my case, I started learning that Scientology language when I was 4 years old. So it can be quite the process. But once you set your mind to it, any person coming out, it kind of accelerates very quickly.
I just want to say one thing about that. I mean, it's hard, especially when you're married to somebody else who knows the lingo too. And it just kind of like happens. But like yesterday, I told somebody, that I was going to get something done before I secure. And secure isn't said in the real world the way we used to say it.
Yeah, secure is when you go to bed for the night, when you wrap everything and secure. And it's meant, I think it's borrowed from the ship days when you would secure everything because you're going to be rocking around and you don't want the stuff to get, fall over. So you secure everything before you go to bed. But I think this one's for Matt and Amy.
Question from KB. Understand you've been devoted to important things, but can we look forward to a few more cameo appearances in 2025? Love you, dear.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We had some good things. We had some good things in the works. Plus, Claire, I'm missing our all things Scientology.
I know. That was so much fun. And it was like weekly. I would get to just chat and have fun with you. And
we'll probably do that again. I was going to talk to you this week about that.
Oh my gosh, I am so excited.
Yes. And, he's got a book and we're trying to get that completed. And of course, we had other matters this past year that, been taken care of, but we're keeping the flag flying. So there we go.
Amazing. That is awesome news. Ashley Campsey. Question: was there any holidays you celebrated in Scientology?
I mean, we kind of Christmas a little bit, but not as a thing. We would just do pick a name out of a hat and then give that person some candy.
Oh, that's right. You would do like a gift exchange.
Sometimes. Gift exchange, like keep it under $20 or something.
And it was only for one person.
A few years.
KKs.
Yeah, KK, Kris Kringle. That's what we would do it.
Yeah,
Kris
that's
Kringle.
right.
But at the base, there was a few years. It wasn't all of the years, but there were a few years early on where we'd get our Christmas bonus. And if we were doing well, it might be as much as $100. And we'd get our Christmas bonus, and it would be the week before Christmas when you'd get your Christmas bonus. Sometimes it would be 3 days before. But you'd get your Christmas bonus, and then you were supposed to go out. And if you had family members that you wanted to send gifts to, you'd have to go. They would take a bus, and you'd go to this place. It was called Cabazon. Was that the place?
Yes, Cabazon.
It's like an outlet mall that's off the 10. I think it's off the 10 freeway in the desert near where the Scientology base was. And
I never drove there, so I have no idea what city it was in.
No, it was right near an Indian reservation that had a casino and hotel and a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because you'd get $100 and you think I'm going to get so many goodies. And then you just walk into one place like J. Crew or one place and it'd be like, oh, I like this sweater. And it's like, that sweater's $149. And you're just like, what? And so you would, because you're not out buying stuff at a mall. So you don't know how much anything costs. And then when you do go out, you're like, I think I'm getting I think I'm getting cards for my family. I think I'm getting a Merry Christmas cards for the people that I'm going to send something to.
Yeah.
And also, when you get your bonus, the hand is out for you to give it back so that they can get gifts for Miscavige.
Oh,
that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in Treasury. We had to give the staff, pay them in cash because people don't have bank accounts and all that kind of stuff, right? So it's all cash. And as they receive the envelope with the cash, there's a person there with the crew list, and you got to give your, half of it back over to go to Miscavige as a gift for Christmas.
That's
and
right.
Your name gets scratched off. You're not going to miss it. He's going to pick up, whatever. We got 3,000 Sea Org members times $30, which is like $9,000, is going to go over to David Miscavige to go.
And they're going to
screw
buy
off
him a
some
scuba diving camera or
a motorcycle.
A motorcycle
1 year.
part for his motorcycle. With
Right.
him. Not a motorcycle, just a part.
Right. Yeah.
Or
a special
pedal bike
leather
that-
jacket and all kinds of stupid stuff.
Yeah, like he needs all of those things more than I need the $100.
And we're walking around with holes in our elbows and knees and
Cardboard in the bottom of our shoes, so the water's not coming up to the bottom of your shoe.
We're eating Musco stew. That's all the stuff in the galley that must go. Musco stew. Okay, we got another one here.
All right, Scientology up north. Comment. Just had conversation with someone who was in EPF together with someone who had Down syndrome. I cannot believe the cruelty these people have gone through. I know, 100%. It's absolutely devastating.
Yeah, they don't really, that's not even a thing there.
Dr. X in the house. So if now they say that family is important, will they allow kids to spend time with their parents during holidays? No.
Now, if you don't work at the same place as your family, then the likelihood that you're going to see them is almost 0% chance. Especially if you work in LA and they work in Florida, you're 100% not. Even if you work at the base and they work in Los Angeles, it's also a very good chance you're not going to be able, even though it's only 2 hours away.
Yeah.
Unless you can sneak off during that 2 hours you're supposed to do your laundry in the morning. If you can go the night, sometimes what people would do, and this was a very real thing for many years, and then they outlawed it. People would go when they got off work at midnight on Saturday. They would, if they had a car or if they had somebody who was going and that person had a car, you could maybe hitch a ride with them. So if you both left at midnight, you get in their car to go home, but instead of going home, you would drive to Los Angeles. And then that person would go see their spouse or go see their kids or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You get to see your kids from midnight until morning. And then first thing in the morning, you'd have to drive back to the property. So you would basically be seeing them or visiting with them during your sleep time.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how it was sort of justified or allowed for many, many years. But then what ended up happening is sometimes people would go see their family and then they'd never, ever come back.
Right.
And so it got outlawed, and then you couldn't even go to LA to see your kids or your wife or your husband or whatever.
Yeah.
It was.
My example. My example of that was when I was 6 years old. My mother was in the Sea Organization. She was a single mom. And about a month before Christmas, she was told, "Oh, you're going to go to Europe on a project to recruit new people. And you're going to be gone for about 3 months." And that was that. So I was given to another family I didn't even know. And my mom cried about it. She's like, "I'm so sorry. I tried to query it. They disapproved it. Bummer. I can't spend Christmas with you."
And how old were you then?
6.
She was 6. It's like, here, this is Johnny and Molly. This is going to be your family for Christmas this year.
And you know what's funny? The sad part is that I have it frozen in time. They said, "Here's your family." And I walked in, and the dad, he had all fake teeth. And so his dentures were removed. So he was about the scariest looking human I'd ever run into at 6 years old. And I was just like, wait, what is happening?
Oh, that's terrible.
Nashay had another question. Holes in your clothes, do you have time to mend them? Are you expected to do so? In the Sea Org, for a long time, we wore polyester blend shirts, long sleeve, even though we were in the desert and it was 110 degrees
with
out.
ties.
We're wearing long sleeve shirts, which that also became a public relations flap after a while, because people would be like, I get everything you guys are doing. I get everything at this. Why are you making these people wear polyester long sleeve shirts in the desert?
Black.
Black
with wool
in color.
pants.
With wool pants in
Yeah.
leather
And
shoes
black
in the
hard shoes.
desert at 120 degrees. Anyway,
Yeah.
but we'd have people if you wear a shirt every day, if you wear a shirt every single day for a year, 120 hours a week, some people only had one shirt. Some people had two shirts. If you were lucky, you had three shirts. If you were a
Hardly anybody had three.
No,
all
yeah.
out baller, you had three shirts. Most people had one or two. But what you'd get is this would just be permanently stained, this area right here.
Yes.
And you would blow out the elbows in
Yeah.
your shirt it's impossible.
Yeah, because no shirt is built even to be worn. What?
No.
120 hours a week, every single week. And also, this is another thing, which I don't know, it's a false economy, I think. The more you wash a shirt, the more worn it gets. So
It has to
because
be
you're
washed all
wearing
the
it
time.
and stinking it all up, you got to wash it at least 3 or 4 times a week. So
Yeah.
that you're just not chasing people out of the room when you show up, you know? But yeah, there was a lot. I bet you if you did a survey, if you made all Sea Org
telling you.
members go like this,
I'm telling you.
blown out, just all
Totally.
the elbows are blown out.
Yeah.
And then what? I mean, we could do a whole thing on
Oh.
this, but hold on. So when you wash them, you have to like hand wash them, and then you dry them by ironing.
With your iron.
Yes.
And so
Super
you've got,
dry.
like,
That's the only way you can
that's
get
the
dried in
only
time
way.
is to
'Cause you have
iron
to
them
wear
dry.
it. Yeah.
And
The
you
amount
had
of
to have
times
your
I went-
uniform. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead. No,
You had to
go
have
ahead.
your uniform. You have different colors at that time. Like each division had a different color.
Yes.
And what would happen is you'd be down to like one shirt. And when you went to do your laundry, they have all the machines lined up, which you're paying the church to use their machines, you give them back the.
Oh yeah, not free laundry.
No, it's not free. I mean, they're giving you $10 and they're taking back 5 of it to do your laundry.
And the other 5 they're getting in the canteen.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. But the deal is, people would be afraid to leave their laundry. Like you couldn't put it in the machine and go off someplace thinking you could come back in 30 minutes. Your shit would be gone. Your shirt would be gone. So you have to stand there and watch to make sure your stuff didn't get stolen.
Yes.
Because people are so
completely.
desperate to get another shirt.
Yeah.
And even if they didn't get stolen, it would 100% be on the floor or in a pile, or like somebody else is like, oh, this person's laundry's done and they didn't take it out. There you go. It's out now. My stuff's going in.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness.
Completely.
Okay, should we do a giveaway here?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, let's see if I've got this worked out right. Look at that.
All
How perfect that was.
right.
We have
Awesome.
147 entries. Okay.
Awesome.
I'm gonna hit the button.
Nice.
Here we go. We do this, guys. Matt and Amy a few weeks ago, I won because I commented. You got to comment to get in the video, and I won.
That's
mean,
amazing.
It was
Oh, I saw Bruce Hines.
wow, Bruce.
Barbara
Barbara.
Bornholt.
Nice.
Congratulations, Barbara. Thank you for joining us today for this hour full of fun-filled news and activity. Please send me an email with whatever you would like from the spshop.com, and I will send you a giveaway link. So congratulations.
Nice. Are you guys cool to hang out a little bit more? I know
Sure.
it's over an
Yeah.
hour, but we
That's
like
all
to
right.
sometimes. If people are here watching,
We'll
there's
do-
right now we have 500 people between Twitter and Blown for Good and the Aftermath page and everything. We
Nice.
got about a little over 500 people watching us live here, so we figured we'd keep going.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
a few
Can I
more
say one other
questions
thing?
and then a giveaway. Yes, go ahead.
To get the leather shoes would be like $125. So the organization's not gonna pay $125 to give you a pair of shoes. And what you would get is plastic shoes from Payless. And now you're in them in Florida, 20 hours a day. I'm telling you, people got stuff growing on their feet that could
Oh,
be.
no.
I will say this. In the uniform series, and when you're learning to be a Sea Org member, one thing that they tell you, and you got to pay attention, is they want you to wear flip-flops or some kind of sandals when you go into the showers, because the showers in Los Angeles, it's group. It's like a room with 20 showers in it, and there's people lined up. It's like if you've ever seen one of those places where they process chickens, it's like that, but with people taking showers. And there's people lined up going in and out of these showers, And when you see some of your fellow Sea Org members' funky feet, you're going to get to wearing sandals all the time.
It's awful.
You don't want to get any
It's
of that on your
awful.
feet. So, yeah, if we could do an entire episode on just uniforms, and it could be a series, it could be 10 videos. It would be, we would be able to tell so many insane stories.
Yeah,
I mean, Matt
completely.
went to Columbia to get all those, canary yellow, pink and purple and green and, lime green,
and
like all those uniforms for the Flag Service Organization, and they apologized.
Yeah, I was supposed to like check them out before the money gets released,
Yeah.
And the guy right away was apologizing. He said, just so you know, this is what they wanted. I mean, he didn't even show me the clothes yet.
Oh my God.
They asked for this. We're not playing a joke on you. Awesome.
Oh goodness.
Okay, here we go. This is a good one. I don't know how much exactly we can say, but go ahead and read it, babe.
Okay. One Love 51,000. Question: how much does it cost to keep the billboards up? I know it's expensive. So nice to see everyone together. Yeah. So basically,
it varies
it does vary because the first month we did 10 billboards and they gave us 10 free, but ballpark is around 2,000 to 3,000 a month. Really is what we're talking about. So
yeah. It's not nothing.
They're giving us a really good price as a nonprofit. And it is not nothing. It's a significant investment to give a message of hope to the members of the Sea Organization who don't have access to the internet and everything else. So it's essentially a calculated effort on the part of the foundation to get that message out there and get it to the people that need to see it the most.
This is a great one. This is another one. I love highlighting this any chance I get.
Okay. Love Maddie. Plastic shoes from Payless. While David Miscavige has all his clothes tailored and shoes, definitely
It's
made and bought in from Italy.
Yeah. No, he 100% was having his clothes tailored, produced, and made in Italy.
Correct.
This is a real thing.
Correct.
Yeah.
And with one of his pairs of shoes, you could probably buy 100 Sea Org members actual quality shoes for the price that he's just getting one pair, and he's not paying for his. If you were, that is another point, Matt. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but usually the when you sign up and you become a Sea Org member, you're basically told the Sea Org member is going to give you clothes.
Right.
Okay. That's like a deal you make. We're going to give you food. We're going to give you a place to sleep, and we're going to give you your uniforms. If you need anything medically, we're going to take care of all that.
Transport.
In reality, they give you a shirt. They give you maybe a pair of pants, not some socks. They will give you a pair of shoes. And sometimes you don't get new shoes. If somebody blew last week and they left their shoes, you'll get their shoes. If you're the same size.
You're not going to get new shirts and pants either when you come in.
That's
you're
right.
Get whatever can be, rounded up.
I'm not embarrassed to say this, but I did wear, there was an executive at the Ant base. His name was Guillaume Lesève. And Guillaume got all new uniforms because he was the executive director international. Okay. Well, Guillaume and I were the exact same size. And his pants were nice. They were almost silk. I don't remember what kind of material. I just remember they were the softest. They weren't that worn. They weren't that beat up. I wore the shit out of those pants, Guillaume. I had those pants. That might have been the best pair of pants I had in the Sea Org. Was a hand-me-down from Executive Director International.
I can tell you the average amount of money per week to go to staff uniforms at the FSO, the Flag Service Organization, which brings in $2 million a week. On an average over a year, I figured it out. We had $500 for uniforms for 1,000 staff to replace their part. A week, $500 a week over a year
for all of them.
All of them,
not not each. It was 500 split amongst all those people.
Yes.
Yeah. See, that's where.
So it's like almost no money.
That math ain't mathing, folks.
No, it is not. May as well wear paper bags at that point.
Oh my goodness. I love people are commenting from watching the video they're not all watching it with us. Some people are watching from the beginning and catching up. Somebody said, there's Jennifer.
I'm going to cry. Mike, right at Starbucks. Awesome. Yes, we were crying the entire time watching that video. We will absolutely put it up on the Aftermath Foundation channel. Again, thank you to Michelle Adair, our board member, and her wife, Rachel Hastings Adair, for putting that together. Awesome job. RTV, thanks for all you do. So good to see the gang together again. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Such an awesome day today. Thanks, Clara, for the recommendation that we do this today. We've been doing lives every Sunday, but of course, tomorrow is Easter Sunday. So we wish everyone a happy Easter.
Yeah.
Casey. Hey, you guys.
Cassie.
Great to see you. Thanks for joining us.
See, she did it again.
I did.
She said Casey. I said Cassie. I don't know if you guys, we were doing this when you guys were on with us. But we've been pronouncing Casey and Cassie differently for every single video. We've never done it right.
You are the one who started the Casey thing, like at 2 years ago. So just saying, that was on you.
She gives you a clue there, Mark.
Oh, I know. 100%. I said it right. She said it wrong.
Jack Shaw 809. Love Matt's stories. Yes.
We always
all
love.
Do.
You know, Matt and I work together outside of the Scientology nonsense. And whenever Matt gets into telling stories, I just always am like, we've got to get Matt back on there telling some of these stories. He has, I don't think he could, I literally think, Matt, you could, we were saying this the other night. We were there for decades in this place. And there wasn't a lot of downtime where nonsense wasn't happening. It's nonstop nonsense.
And then you have to double the amount of years to factor in the length of hours we were working.
Right. Yeah. It's not just a normal day. So like at least double it.
Exactly. So there could have been 5 crazy things that happened every single day. And you don't even think about them until you start talking with somebody like Matt or with Amy or me.
And it triggers.
That's right. And then you remember like, oh yeah, what about that one time that dude did Bloody Blah? And you're like, oh, I totally forgot about that. Because it was just a Tuesday. It wasn't anything special when it happened.
No, not at all.
Okay, let's do a few more questions. And then should we do one more giveaway?
Yes, we should.
We're over $1,000 on the fundraiser. And also this replays, and when people watch it, we'll get more. So,
and by the way, I did also want to mention, so the YouTube fundraiser feature makes it so that you can enable any YouTube channel to collaborate with a fundraiser to support the cause. So for any YouTube channels out there who would like to support this Billboard campaign, you are able to do so. We're going to leave this up. You can just point to this in YouTube Studio to support the billboards, and boom, there you go. We would love any and all support we can get to keep this program going.
Yes. Okay. I don't know what go.
Shakeology.
Snake.
Snake. Sorry. Is the Orange County location a spot for Sea Org? Would they be shuttled to Los Angeles or do they stay around Santa Ana? Thank you.
I don't have any current intel on Orange County. I
when
think
we were there, it was not Sea Org members.
But they did have some Sea Org members kind of stationed there to keep an eye on things. Because Orange County, notoriously over the years, there's been a lot of nonsense that's gone on in Orange County. There was a period of time, I mean, they were trendsetters. They were stealing money on credit cards before anybody was stealing money on credit cards, right?
Well, maybe not before Hamburg.
No. Orange County.
Before?
No, they 100. It was in the 80s when they did it. And they were the best. They wasn't it Orange County that triggered the whole, or they were featured in the Time magazine article? I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah.
And I think also they might have been part of when Amex, American Express, the credit card American Express, banned all of Scientology from having from processing American Express because they were just overcharging. They do in Scientology, they have a thing that's called crush regging. And the registrar is the person who gets money from Scientologists for the organization for counseling or courses or whatever it is. And they would tell the person, you have to pay for your entire bridge all the way up before you leave today. And that could be 100,000 more. It could be 200,000. And they would just beat that person up. This person has $8,000 total in their bank account. And before that person leaves, they'd get 50,000 out of them. The person
Yeah.
would buckle and say, I can't give you 200, but I could give you 50. And 42 of it would be on credit cards and the rest would be their
Yeah.
entire bank account. And then that person would default and then they get in trouble. And they would do 30 people like that a week.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so that caught up to them. And then also this makes disgruntled Scientologists when they
Oh,
can't
yeah.
pay their own bills because they gave it all to these guys. And then they find out these guys are just giving it all to David Miscavige for his Italian shoes. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah. Which, by the way, you reminded me in 2024, there were numerous civilian Scientologists that the Aftermath Foundation helped with who had been crush-wedged for credit card
Mhm.
charges. And we worked with them to get those charges reversed, reported those to multiple law enforcement agencies as credit card fraud. And we were keeping a tally, and it was in excess of $100,000 that we helped people get reversed
Yep.
in 2024. So
Yeah.
just another example of the work the Michael J. Rinder Aftermath Foundation does.
Yeah. And I
That's
also
right.
this is a perfect comment to put that up because Rachel says, how many credit,
Rachel,
this is in relation to the testimony, the testimonial that you read.
how many credit cards were taken out in his name once he got that diagnosis?
Or the guy that you were talking about that passed away.
Oh,
Because-
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, absolutely. It was in excess of $30,000.
That they really did.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this person that was in the Sea Org that was diagnosed, they had taken out credit cards. And now I don't know that Rachel didn't.
Including the one we knew about from Rosemary's case,
That was like 80
Navy
something.
Federal Credit Union.
But how much was that?
It was a lot.
It
It was no, the total in Rosemary's case, I believe, was ballpark 200,000.
Yeah. So another person, when this is a real thing. So when the people that are elderly in the Sea Org, they know that they're going to pass away. So racking up all these credit cards is a no-brainer for the Sea Org. It's a victimless crime for them because the person's going to pass away and there's nothing they can do with that debt because the person's gone and they were in the Sea Org. They don't have any other family or anything.
Right.
So Scientology can just take all that money free. So this is a very, very common occurrence where they get the person to open as many credit cards as they possibly can, max them all out, give all the money to Scientology, then the person passes away, and then Scientology walks away with all that
Credit
dough.
card fraud.
In the Rosemary's case, they did this because of course she's going to pass away. She didn't. She got
They
caught.
told her to.
They told her you need to pass away, and they have a thing
They
in
said, drop
Scientology.
your body. That's what it is.
But she didn't. She
No, she
reached
didn't.
out. We
Yeah,
ended
yeah.
up getting a hold of her, and she's still alive to this day. This happened years and years
she
ago.
just texted me last week
Yeah.
and said she was like, I saw your live about the billboards. Yay. I'm like,
Mm.
yay.
Yeah. So that's that. If you think about that for a second, not only did they condemn her that, oh, she's a write-off, let's just rack up $200K worth of credit card debt. She then
criminal.
does not pass away. She gets out. And when they found out that we knew about the credit cards,
Mm.
oh, they started writing some checks. And that's another thing. Even
Yeah,
if you
'cause-
don't like us and you don't care about us and you're like, oh, those guys are not really helping. If you were in Scientology and you got some credit card debt,
Yeah.
as soon as you mention us, they
Yeah.
start writing you checks
Like,
because
"You're
they don't
welcome."
they don't want us to get involved
Yeah.
with knowing about the crimes. So they try to erase. And this is
Because they know we have many law enforcement
Yeah.
agencies
Yeah.
on speed dial and speak
And-
with them on the regular.
And the people who are doing it should be in jail. Like,
Yeah.
100%.
Let's see
It's the
some people
most-
go to jail.
it's the
Absolutely.
craziest thing that they're doing this to elderly people. It's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
wild.
Oh my God.
Oh, and by the way, so for anyone watching, if you weren't aware, we put out a newsletter jam-packed full of
Yes.
detailed information. It is also available on the website on the aftermathfoundation.org. And there
Yeah.
you can also sign up for notifications to receive those. But my point being that we also set up a platform on the website to enable any current or former Scientologist to submit information of crimes that Scientology has perpetrated completely anonymously,
Yes.
so that we can connect them with law enforcement agencies at their request and as necessary. But it enables, like, you don't even have to have an email address to be able to report crimes there.
Mhm.
Okay. as an Everin, I can't believe some of these stories. It's just mind-boggling. Yes, absolutely. And this is why we continue to do the work that we do and volunteer for the foundation to get people out of there.
Absolutely. Okay, should we do another giveaway and then?
Yes, and then we'll wrap it up.
Okay, let's go back to, we got Barbara. She was the winner. We're going to draw again. It's got another 169 people it's going to draw from.
Nice.
Here we go. Draw again. Hey, I hit the button. Oh, there it is.
There we go.
Okay, here we go, folks. Here we go. Ooh, Rachel almost got. See, anybody who comments is when RTV.
Yay. Congratulations,
Look at
RTV.
Look at that. He just made a comment too. I want to see it now. I'm going to put it up now that
we read one of RTV's comments. Yes,
okay.
We did.
Awesome.
Yes. Congratulations, RTV. Send me an email, claire@blownforgood.com, with a link to what you would like, and we will get that taken care of. And thank you again so much to everybody who joined us. If you enjoyed our content here today in support of the Michael J. Rinder Aftermath Foundation, feel free to drop in the comments what you'd like us to cover in future fundraisers. Again, we'll get to planning more of these in the future with more special guests. Thank you so much, Amy and Matt, for joining us.
Yep.
Go like
anytime. We
go
love
like
it.
this. Watch this. Go like this. Look, look at I have magic. I can make her turn like
No,
do
not a button there.
twice to Claire. In order to, because we have it doesn't work, Matt. I'll hook you up. I'll show you how to do it later. Because we have multiple people and the way our studio is, I had to set up Claire with her own feed and everything, so that she could be in this. And it was a lot of work because this is our normal camera and we both are on, and then we have singles. And so now that Claire has her own camera, she can be me or she can be her.
Where is that?
What? It's just in our basement.
In our basement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here,
Totally
this is what it looks like.
transformed.
Here, let's see. That's what it looks like.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Good job on getting that set up. Wow.
It is pretty cool. Even you know what's funny? Our kids don't really care about any of this stuff. They're just like, whatever. You guys are gonna do a live? Okay, fine. But when they have friends over, they bring their friends in, like, check this out.
Oh
and
yeah,
like,
do they?
they're like, what do your parents have a YouTube studio? The other day when I came in here and there was a bunch of kids in here, I was like, what's going on? And my son was like, just showing them your studio.
We're like, okay.
Anyway, another thing we do is when we do the end outro, when it's like, do this and do that and all this other stuff, we put up everybody's comments over me yapping at the end.
Oh, that's good.
But
For future, we'll do a dedicated Aftermath intro and outro for these in the future. Again, we were just kind of figuring this out and taking advantage of it, and it makes so much more sense to do it this way in support of the foundation and keeping it separate from personal YouTube channels. So yay.
Yeah, fantastic.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Thank you for joining us, Matt and Amy. It's
been a pleasure.
It's even though there's only two of you, it's at least 4 times the fun when you come. Okay.
Completely.
Yay.
We love you guys.
Love you too so much.
Awesome.
see you
Thanks
soon.
for joining us today, everybody.
Bye,
Until next
everybody.
time.
Okay,
Bye.
bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to help support the channel, feel free to check out the merch store link in the description. We have Hail Xenu, Xenu is my homeboy, and BFG branded mouse pads, shirts, mugs, all sorts of other stuff in there that helps us to bring you new content on a regular basis. You can also pick up a copy of my book, Blown for Good, Behind the Iron Curtain of Scientology, in hardback, Kindle, and Audible versions as well. There's also a link to our podcast, and you can get that on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you'd like to watch another video, you can click on this link right here, or you can click on this one here, or you can click on the subscribe button right here. Thanks a lot. Until next time.